piles of cushions, a wood-burning stove that was always lit in winter, and a ceramic polar bear biscuit jar that was rarely empty. It was one of Morrigan's favourite and most comfortable places in the world. "Morning!" the conductor shouted, beaming from ear to ear and waving a handful of papers at them. "Happy last day of term, scholarly ones!" Miss Cheery's role as Unit 919's official conductor was an interesting one. Part transport operator, part guidance counsellor. She was there to smooth a path through their first 5 years as members of Nevermoor's most elite and demanding organisation. The Wundrous Society was made up of extraordinary people with extraordinary talents, but most of them were too absorbed in their own extraordinary endeavours to pay much attention to the Society's youngest inductees. Without their conductor, Unit 919 would be lost in the wilderness. Miss Cheery was the only person Morrigan knew who utterly lived up to her name. She was pure sunshine. She was fresh linen, birdsong at twilight, perfectly cooked toast. She was all rainbow-coloured clothes and impeccable posture, deep brown skin and enormous smile. And when the light shone through the edges of her cloud-like halo of curly black hair, she made Morrigan think of an angel, though, of course, she would never say anything so cheesy out loud. As their designated grown-up, the one thing she probably ought to have had was a bit more decorum, but 919 liked her exactly as she was. "Last day, last day, last day," she chanted, kicking her legs out from the train door in celebration before it had even come to a halt. Anar shouted back in a fretful voice, "Miss Cheery, that is not safe." Miss Cheery responded by contorting her face into something comically terror-stricken and flailing her arms as if she was going to fall out, and then actually falling out onto the platform when the train suddenly stopped. "I'm okay," she said, jumping up to take a bow. The others laughed and applauded, but Anar turned to glare at them one by one, pink-faced, her blonde curls swinging dramatically. "Oh, yes, very funny, except who'll be expected to stop the bleeding when she falls onto the tracks and snaps her tibia in half? I bet none of you even knows how to splint a leg." "That's why we have you, Anar." Archan smiled at her, his pale cheeks dimpling, and bent down to help Miss Cheery pick up the scattered papers with his free hand. "Yeah, Dr. Callow," added the brawny Thadia MacLeod, nudging Anar in the side and nearly knocking her over. It was a gentle nudge by Thadia's standards, but sometimes she forgot her own considerable strength. Anar made a face as she straightened up, but seemed somewhat mollified by Thadia's use of the word doctor. "Miss... what's..." Archan was staring at one of the papers, frowning in confusion. "Are these new timetables?" "Thanks, Arch. Help me pass them out, will you?" the conductor replied, waving Unit 919 onto the train. "Come on, everyone aboard or we'll be late. Francis, put the kettle on, please. Lamb, hand round the biscuit jar." Hawthorne gave Miss Cheery a puzzled look as she handed him his timetable. It was the last day of term, and they usually only received new timetables once a week. "You gave us these on Monday, miss, remember?" He dropped in a beanbag while Morrigan settled on the sofa between Cadence and Lambeth, scouring her own timetable. As far as she could tell, it was identical to the one she'd been given at the start of the week. There was Tuesday's workshop in undead dialects, and Wednesday's masterclass in observing planetary movements, followed by a class in the Sub-5 espionage wing called Cultivating and Handling Informants. That had been Morrigan's favourite lesson of the week so far. Turned out she was quite good at spy stuff. "I do remember, yeah," said Miss Cheery. "Despite my advanced age of 21, Hawthorne, my decrepit brain does still allow me to reach into its vast memory bank to the distant past of 4 whole days ago." She smiled, raising an eyebrow. "These are new timetables. Please note where today has been updated." Morrigan skipped to Friday's column and, spotting the difference...